We back and we done missed so much shit.
We have missed a lot of stuff.
We have missed so much since episode 300 because we ain't even talk about no current hoops on episode 300. Shout out to the fans, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Episode 300 was actually very, very enjoyable. It was fun. It was nice to go back, reminisce, think on a lot of the great times that we've had with you all around the world over the past 8 years. So I just want to say personally, I am truly humbled and appreciative of all you all. And let's just keep rocking. And let's hopefully we can get to another 300 episodes and be doing Hoops and Brews episode number 600. Now, I don't know, 4-5 years from now, something like that. You know what I mean? I heart, come back. We need another contract, G. We will pod like a motherfucker.
Pod like a motherfucker.
I heart, come back. You can blame it all on me.
I'll pod every damn day.
Pappy, like I can offset some of these tariffs with that I heart, buddy.
No, someone said with I heart money, bro. Facts. Hey, no, we good though. It's a 90-day pause. It's just on China. China don't make no wine.
All right, man. Bro, I'm pretty sure that microphone you got had half the shit on your body probably come from China. Half the materials in your house right now probably say made in China on them. Yeah. I don't want you randomly throughout the day just walk around your house and pick some shit up and be like, what does this say? Where it says made in?
I've honestly been doing this. I'm about to look at my mix. Hold up. Made in Taiwan.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I know this. I know this T-shirt is Bangladesh.
Okay. All right.
I've definitely been walking around looking at how much stuff is. A lot of stuff is made in fucking China, bro. A lot of stuff is made in China.
Man said 125%.
125%, bro. How do you even calculate that shit, dog? Like, what is them Sheen bodysuits, bro, gonna cost like $300, and they really $10, bro.
She ain't about to go out of business.
They ain't finna go out of business. That shit cooked, gang.
They might as well change that shit to Prada, sell that shit to Prada or something, bro.
Nigga,
cook.
H&M finna come back heavy.
Temu finna be the same price as Amazon.
What is Temu?
It's like a cheap version of Amazon, basically.
They have a cheap version of Amazon?
It's like you go and you buy a bunch of like off-market stuff for like mad cheap.
Amazon already not that expensive, unless you want it to be.
Nah, Amazon ain't that cheap. I'm sure Temu is a lot cheaper.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Yeah. So here we are.
Speaking of being cheap, I think we should start off with this topic.
Okay.
The Denver Nuggets. Speaking of being cheap, I think we start with the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, they had a very big day yesterday. What are we? I think the playoffs start in 7 days. They fired Mike Malone and
the play-in starts.
The play-in starts 7 days. Shit, that might be where the Nuggets headed to. They ain't that far away from it, and they lost 4 straight games. And I don't know if they're gonna win some more, considering that they gets fired their coach.
It was a player mutiny. I'm not worried about it.
They also fired the GM too.
It was a player mutiny. I'm not mad at it.
Coach and the GM?
Yeah.
I think there was a lot going on. I think that obviously when you look at some of the decisions that the Denver Nuggets have made over the past, really since they won a championship. Granted, the NBA did change the rules when you had a second apron. Also, Denver is not the biggest market in the world. But you look at the guys they lost, right? They lost very key pieces pretty much every single offseason, right? Like obviously Indiana swoops in and gives Bruce Brown a 2 for 20. Denver obviously didn't have a chance to match that. KCP, the Magic come in and give KCP.
I don't like the thought process of they couldn't match it. They could have matched all of it. They didn't want to go into the luxury tax.
Fair.
This is all about them not wanting to pay luxury tax. So
that's why I said they were being cheap. That's why I said we should start the show with them being cheap. I think the Bruce Brown deal 2 for 20 was egregious. The KCP deal, I thought KCP was a very big part of that basketball team. It's unfortunate that they just let him walk like that. But you had Christian Braun in, you had guys that Calvin Booth, I think is his name, if I'm not mistaken, picked, and these draft picks haven't worked out. The backup center Najee, who they just paid 4 years to, he really can't get on the court. Some of the other rookies that they have, the directly draft picks that they have had, haven't been able to get on the court. Those guys just haven't been able to contribute the way that you would have wanted them to be able to contribute. So I think Mike
and that according to reports is
was
what
Mike
led
Malone.
between the friction between Mike Malone and the GM Calvin Booth. Calvin Booth wanted them to go more young and play more of the younger draft picks. I guess he was upset that Mike Malone decided to play Russell Westbrook over the rookie point guard that they just drafted or something like that. He wanted him to get more minutes. I forgot the name of the guy.
Pickett. I think it's Jaden Pickett or something like that.
Yeah. So Booth, essentially wanted to go more younger and develop the talent. Mike Malone was more focused on now, and Mike Malone, reportedly had, he said it out loud. He had a problem with guys not, really studying and in the words of LeBron James, minding the game and watching back their, tape from when they're playing. It's like being in the NFL, not watching none of your game film. That's kind of crazy. And then also the players in the locker room were reportedly frustrated with Mike Malone because they said that he would come down hard on everyone else but wouldn't say anything bad about Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray. He showed favoritism towards them. So I think it's interesting that he got fired, especially so close to the playoffs. But I think that the Luka trade really just it shined a light on how this is all, and even Steve Kerr alluded to it in the post game versus the Phoenix Suns, that the league is basically about money, and that the NBA is a large conglomerate and corporation, and that's just really what it boils down to. You got a lot of guys, you got a lot of white guys that want to make a bunch of money. You know what I mean? Like literally, so that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna save money, cut for the luxury tax, and do whatever it is that they can to, save as much money as possible. But I also think that this paints the end of Nikola Jokic being a Nugget. I think that Jokic will either wind up in Chicago or he's gonna wind up in Los Angeles in the future. Remember, I said that.
I mean, I don't know. What if he does
on the Lakers? He's not gonna stay.
What if he does?
I don't think he's gonna stay. I don't. If I'm Nikola Jokic, and he may or may not win his 4th MVP, but if I'm him, I'm like, I'm 3 MVPs in. I won a ring. They're not they're saving money. They're not spending money. We're not gonna get better. You've said it numerous times. He's never played with another award winner on his team that was like current, other than Russell Westbrook, obviously, and Russ is in year 18, 19. Yeah, it's in year 18, 19 of his greatness. So it's not the same as it was before. So if I'm looking at the Denver Nuggets and the landscape of what they're doing, I really, truly in my heart of hearts, believe that the writing is on the wall for complete teardown and rebuild. I think you look at guys like Aaron Gordon; he's been good, but he's kind of getting to the point. No. To me, they don't have any young, hot, identifiable star for the future that you can build around. You only have your 30-year-old, 3-time, should be 5-time MVP, and that's it. And I think that this is a big problem for them, and they are going to implode, and they're going to send Jokic to the Lakers or send him to Chicago. Watch. Because the Bulls actually, I think, have enough young pieces to swap and picks in the future.
No, like if I'm the Bulls, if I'm Jokic, what you would have to trade to get Jokic, you would literally gut the team, and then you would be back to playing with nothing. For what you would have to trade to get Jokic. I love the Jokic on the.
That's not true. The Bulls are not cap strapped.
It doesn't matter, bro.
What do you mean?
Number one, the Bulls historically have not been able to attract free agents. Is that fair to say?
I don't need him to be a free agent.
Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying if you trade, bro, to get Jokic to Chicago, you're gonna have to give up. You gonna have to give up Kobe White, everybody, and draft picks.
I'm about to do it right now. Go ahead, keep talking. I'm listening.
You got to give up Kobe White, pretty much everybody that you would be sending him there to play with. You would have to give up. I think the best route for Nikola Jokic is to just play this contract out. Again, some of the pieces that you have, right? Granted, you got Julian Strawther, only played 1 year. We'll see. Peyton Watson in his second year. We'll see. DeRon Holmes is a rookie. We'll see. We'll see if Jalen Pickett can bring something. We'll see if some of these other younger guys can bring something. I think that the main problem that the Nuggets have had, one is Jamal Murray has been hurt. Also, Michael Porter Jr., when you gave him that deal, has not become the player that you wanted Michael Porter Jr. to, in theory, become. He hasn't been a guy that can go out there and consistently give you 20 points a night. If Michael Porter Jr. was that guy, was better with the ball in his hands, I think that this Nuggets situation would be a lot better. And again, also they haven't been healthy. I think the best role for Jokic, if you want to go to like a Chicago, because again, I don't think a lot of people know this, but Chicago has the biggest Serbian population. I think I don't want to say if it's in the world, but definitely in the U.S. outside of Serbia. So if he wants to come here, I think the best role for you coming here is to make sure the Bulls have their books clean and they just sign you. Because what you would have to give up to get Nikola Jokic, you would literally gut your team, and you would be in the same scenario. Shout out Carmelo Anthony. He just made the Hall of Fame. But do you remember when the Knicks traded for Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah.
When he could have just waited one more year and just signed there. But they traded all those assets for Melo. And the Nuggets actually won 50 games and made the playoffs. And then the Knicks signed all those old guys. And then that's why Melo's Knicks tenure, once them old guys was there for like 1 or 2 years, and they had that one good year, it went to hell. Because you had to give up so much to get him. So again, I think the main thing with the Nuggets is that just like let's look at the contracts they signed guys to. Jamal Murray, don't he have like $200 million? Don't Jamal Murray got like $200 million?
I don't know.
I think Jamal Murray has $200 million. Let me look at Jamal Murray's deal. Jamal Murray has, I know Porter is 140. I think he's getting like $40 million a year. Yeah, Jamal Murray is getting basically, he signed a 5-year, $158 million deal. Like the man getting 36 this year, 46 next year, 50, 53, 57 in 28, 29. And Jamal Murray in the regular season hasn't played over total games. Jamal Murray hasn't played 70 games since 2020. 18-19 was the last time Jamal Murray has played 70 games. And you think this gonna get better as he ages? Michael Porter Jr. Like I said, that was you when you gave Porter Jr. that deal, you thought that he was going to be a guy that can get you about 20 points. Porter Jr. has started at being a guy who's going to get you about 15, 16, and Jokic's going to have to help him get that 15, 16 because he's not going to be able to put the ball on the floor and rock out for real. And then Christian Braun. God bless his soul. I think he's came in and been better throughout the season, but he hasn't been KCP. Aaron Gordon has been a guy who has genuinely improved a lot. Aaron Gordon, he has improved his shot a lot. One of the main things that he was when he came to Denver, he couldn't shoot. He's shooting much better this season. I don't know what the stats say, but the eye test from when I just watched the games, he's shooting much better this season. So again, I think that this is just a team that's kind of in between two teams, and it's just unfortunate that you have Jokic, this all-time player, on a team that's kind of in between two teams. And again, was never that good in the first place, which is why I don't think people were giving enough credence to what Jokic was doing because his team was never that good in the first place.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. But let's see. I'm actually very, very close to trading Jokic to Chicago. It's like the difference is like $1 million or like I'm looking at it. It's like I'm really close to it. I think I'm like $800,000 off and like some kind of compensation in terms of because the thing about the Nuggets is technically they are over the first apron, so they can't take back any money. But they also have a lot of players on their roster, and so do the Bulls, so you got to balance out them players. So I tried to put like the Wizards or something in there, but I am very close. I don't believe it's impossible to trade him. And the trade I got is send Jokic, Jalen Pickett and Spencer Jones to the Bulls, for Lonzo, Vucevic, Kobe White, Kobe Jones from the Wizards, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks.
That's not enough.
Yes, it is enough.
It's not enough.
What do you mean, bro?
You said who?
He's 30.
I don't give a fuck how old he is. That's not enough.
That is enough, bro.
That's not enough.
Luka just got traded for AD and fucking 1 pick.
He got traded for fucking Anthony Davis.
So what?
He got traded for another top 10 player. Look at the names that
if you trying to get rid of this team, bro, and blow this team up, bro,
it's not enough.
Kobe White gonna have 1 more year on this deal. Vucevic gonna have 1 more year on this deal, and Lonzo gonna have 2 more.
Who the hell finna sign with Denver? I don't care if they got money left.
I literally just said you gotta destroy it and start again. I literally said that when I started my argument.
If you put Jokic on the open market, I think you can get more than what you just said.
I don't know. I'm being honest. I'm dead ass.
If you put Jokic on the open market, you can get more than what you just said.
Who's trading for him?
I think the list of people will be lining up. I think there's a list. I think every team in the league will at least take a call.
I'm not upset at that opinion. Cam said Jokic ain't going to the Bulls. Cut it out. Cam, hop in the studio if you want to talk. But we didn't get a chance to cover this. But the Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins.
And on a 5-game win streak.
What are your thoughts? Was he the problem?
Well, I think if I heard from somebody, I saw throughout the internet that I guess Ja was frustrated with the offense. Like they've been running, I think they ran the least amount of pick and roll ball screens this season. And after they got Taylor Jenkins out of there, and since Ja's came back, he's been balling. Like they've won 5 straight games. They've looked like I don't want to say righted the ship, but they're playing much better than what they were playing while Taylor Jenkins was there. I think again it was a shocking firing because again, like you said, like Steve Kerr said, like these firings wouldn't have happened 15 years ago, especially if your team was in the playoffs. Like you had to be it had to be literally irreconcilable differences, or it had to be you were just horrible in order to get fired. But it seems like so far they've done, I guess, the quote unquote right thing. But my thing for the Grizzlies is I just don't think the Grizzlies have enough to go to that next level. And I think that the Grizzlies were what the Rockets are this year, 2-3 years ago. And I feel like the Western Conference, dare I say it, has maybe passed them up. Like when you look at the fun young teams in the league and the super young new teams, it would be I would think the Thunder. And there's obviously the Rockets. You don't really put Memphis in that same category as you did. And a lot of that is injuries. Like last year was just pretty much a lost season for them. And with Ja, I mean, Ja does something like even like last night, right? You do the grenade celebration. Like Ja does something I don't want to say every game, but consistently has a habit of doing something that can be a distraction.
That was not a grenade.
What was it?
He was pulling out a bouquet of flowers and he threw the flowers into the crowd.
All right. Anyway, Ja does something that could be considered a distraction at least a few times a year. That's a lot to manage for a coach. And again, even if you want to say like, Ja was mad at the offense, like, bro, they still had won 47 games. Like, granted, some of the wins that they had, I think they had like very few wins against teams with a above 500 record. But again, like I said, one of the main things with the Grizzlies is they had been hurt. In that same time span, Ja was in and out the lineup. He had the shoulder, I think it was. Jaren Jackson has sprained his ankle. So Memphis has had this thing where you have a bunch of guys being hurt, but you know the coach is always a scapegoat, especially if your best player, your best player, who is probably the best athlete, not probably, outside of maybe Penny Hardaway and Derrick Rose for that 1 year, he's the best athlete in the history of that city. He might be the best athlete in the history of that state, or the most important athlete to the history of that state. So when you talk about bringing in money, that is if I got to pick between Ja or I got to pick between Taylor Jenkins, Taylor, you can go first. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm not upset at that. In my opinion, I was conflicted by the firing because it did kind of seem, random. But I think when you see all these press reports about guys not getting along and guys not, I think a lot of these firings have been much more surrounding team chemistry than they've been team chemistry and lack of basketball chemistry than they have been about, the coaches being bad. And I think even a guy like Mike Budenholzer, like he's a guy that was rumored that might be getting fired after he just signed a new contract. And you hear from the reporters that, him and the players don't necessarily, vibe and agree with each other. I think a large part of the problem in the NBA is that the culture's changed. A lot of these guys are young. And it's not really, I think that the onus is a lot more on the coaches now to keep the team chemistry at an all-time high, because if it falls, the mutiny comes very, very fast and the hammer comes down on them even faster. So for me, I look at the Taylor Jenkins situation similar to the way I look at the Mike Malone thing. Like, if the players in the locker room don't feel like they have your utmost, trust, or they feel like they have your utmost confidence, you got to get them out of the way. And even though it's before the playoffs and everybody gonna say before the playoffs, woo, whatever, I actually think that these type of firings are the best kind of firings, because now that means that every team doesn't have enough time to get all new scouting reports on what your new offense or the new vibe or the new energy is. Like you mentioned about the ball screens in Memphis. Now you got to go back and you will have a much smaller sample size to go back and study in terms of film and how they run their offense going into the playoffs. So I do think it can throw your opponent off a little bit. I don't necessarily think it's going to help Memphis in terms of their matchup, but I think that if you got a fired up Ja, a Glock holding, grenade throwing Ja, you got real Joseph Morant back. And I think as long as you got Glock Morant back in his high spirits, in his highest level of Rambo-ness, you're gonna get some great playoffs from him. So that's how I feel about it. So
I mean, he been balling.
Yep. So 2025 NBA playoffs. Right now we are looking at some matchups. Obviously, we don't know the play-in matchups, but we can just talk about the East very quickly. The Cavaliers are either going to play the Heat, the Bulls, the Hawks, or the Magic. I think we can both agree that they'll dispense of any of those teams in 4 to 5 games. Correct?
I think the Magic might put. I mean, if just looking at last year.
Well, you know what? I will say this: the Magic, because they've been hurt all year, I think can push the Cavs to 6 games.
Yes.
But I think DeAndre Hunter getting traded there was like the tipping. If you talk about the scales, like it might have been like teetering a little bit, because when Franz and Paolo get hot, they're very hard to stop. But to me, adding DeAndre Hunter kind of tipped the scales completely in Cleveland's favor, because now they just have a fifth option at any given time that can score 20. And then you include their bench and the guys that they have. I really don't think that any team in the East stands a chance. I wouldn't be surprised if a team like the Bulls took a game from them, but I don't think any other team is going to beat them in that first round series. I think it would take a catastrophic meltdown, and the lights would have to be the brightest they've ever been before for them to lose in that first round series. What you think?
No, I mean, I think that the Magic could propose maybe a little bit more of a challenge, but I think anybody else would get sacrificed. Like either way, they're gonna win, and like maybe the Magic can go 6 games if they get lucky. If I think Jalen Suggs is out for the whole year, which obviously is a huge deal for the Magic. But that's the only team that I think could maybe propose a little bit of like a fake scare. Everybody else would get disposed of extremely quick.
Yeah, and for me, next matchup, Boston versus whoever. I actually think this series will be a sweep. I think the Celtics have just been kind of getting through the year because they didn't want to, any major injuries. Tatum and Brown have still been playing tremendous ball. I mean, they might finish the season only losing 20 games, which if you told me before the beginning of the season that they only lost 20 games, I would have told you they would have been the best team in the NBA. So to see the Oklahoma City Thunder as well as the Cleveland Cavaliers outpace them, sustain it throughout the year, and still be going into the playoffs playing great basketball, I think that actually kind of lends well for the Celtics because of the fact that they are kind of waiting in the wings, because I don't think anybody is really picking them to win the championship this year, even though they won last year. I don't think anybody's picking them to win championship.
I don't know about that. I think I don't know what Vegas says, but I think the odds are very high for the Celtics. They probably still might be the favorite to win. I don't think people believe in Cleveland that much.
Right now, the Celtics are the second, betting favorite. The Cavs, OKC, followed by Boston, followed by Cleveland, then the Warriors, then the Lakers, then the Nuggets. So
somebody got to put some money on the Knicks.
On the Knicks right now are plus 3,000.
I would put if I was gonna put money on any team, I would put money on the Knicks. If I just had
to win a championship,
yeah, that's like my super dark horse.
You're doing good though.
Super dark horse.
Look, unless Sonny Lee gonna be every Knicks game, and OG gonna be windmilling and 360 dunking, in the words of Future, ain't no way, no fucking way.
If I was gonna go to Vegas and put money on a dark horse team, I would put it on the New York Knicks. I'm not picking them to win, but if I had to pick a dark horse, I would pick the Knicks.
And I would say you do
get dope. As far as
dope.
the betting odds go.
Speaking of the Knicks Pistons first round is what we're looking at.
It's a great series. It's a great series, and I think K will start his MVP campaign for next season. In this playoff run, that he'll, especially if he plays the Knicks. I think if he plays the Knicks, you're gonna see some shit from him in the Garden. I think OG gonna make it tough as hell on that man, though. But I think you're gonna see K start to like really become a for real household name. I think I'm
predicting a massive brawl in that series. A massive brawl. I mean, I'm talking.
Who gonna fight though?
Who you think gonna fight?
Yeah, but who on the Knicks gonna fight him?
Somebody gonna get enough.
What you gonna send Mitchell Robinson over there?
I don't know. Somebody. All I will say is, I'm not predicting this, and I don't want him to get hurt. But I'm predicting. Watch, he gonna get a break on a fast break, and you saw how unfortunate it happened to that young man.
That was wild though. Yeah.
Somebody gonna do that shit to him. He be wilding.
First of all, why would Isaiah Stewart have a fast break? That's insane in itself. But nah. I think that'll be a great first round series. That's a great classic series. It's like a very big 80s, 90s, Detroit against New York. That'll be a great series.
Josh Hart to fight him.
Josh Hart will push him and wait for people to break it up.
Jalen Brunson to fight him.
Jalen Brunson will not even push him. OG might try.
It's Sonny Lee there. He got to defend his lady honor.
OG might try.
You can't get hold in front of Sonny Lee, OG.
OG might try.
You cannot get hold in front of Sonny Lee. Shout out to Sonny Lee, by the way.
But no. I do think that would be a great series. And I think that, like I said, I think K will start his MVP campaign for next season in that series. And I think that after that series, especially if he can go in there and give you, like, let's say 38 and 10 and look like a superstar and look like, a future MVP of the league, a future best player in the league, I think it accelerates the Detroit Pistons clock. And I think that this offseason, if he does that, if you in Detroit, you might make some calls. I did see a report a few weeks ago that said I think 80% of Eastern Conference execs expect Devin Booker to be a name that the Pistons call about. Devin Booker is from Michigan. Like, if K goes out, if K
from the Pistons, why do I need Devin Booker?
Because what you mean? That's the best backcourt in the league. I
would much rather get a front court player.
Why? I got front court players.
Isaiah Stewart is not the future to me. I think you need a more dynamic front court player if you're gonna contend for a championship in the NBA. I don't know,
bro. I think that,
most championship level teams have a great 1-2 combo in the front and the backcourt.
Listen, I think that who?
The fuck you mean who?
Name them.
Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Am I fucking tripping?
Really, wait, Jalen, hold on, wait.
Jalen Brunson, stop. You asked me the name and let me finish.
Yeah, but I'm stopping you real quick.
Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns.
I'm stopping you real quick.
Giannis, no, stop.
I'm stopping you real quick.
Giannis, Dame, Pascal, Hallie. What are you talking about?
Number one, a few of those teams, I think Dame and Giannis, have no chance for a championship. Holly and Pascal, I think have no chance for a championship. And also,
you don't have to. You just got to be better than him.
Hold on, listen. Hold on, brother. Also, I think Siakam is more of a wing player than he is a normal front court player. I also think Jason Tatum is more of a wing player than he is a traditional front court player.
Bro, he been starting at power forward for fucking 6 years.
I feel what you're saying, but power forward these days and age is like a glorified small forward.
So Draymond a backcourt player?
Huh?
Draymond a backcourt player?
No, but
then shut the fuck up, man.
Listen, bro. Listen.
Come on, G.
Listen. But Draymond is a different type of player than what Jason Tatum is. Draymond is a hybrid type of guy. You know the power forward position is not the same as it was. Bro, they've been starting Matas Buzelis at power forward. You want to tell me he an actual power forward? He's a wing. The Celtics play 1 point guard.
Bro, Matas Buzelis is 6'10". What the fuck are you talking about?
He's a wing.
He's a fucking big man.
No, he's not. Kevin Durant was 7 feet playing small for his whole career.
All right, bro.
Until he got old.
All right, bro.
And he still be playing wing.
All right, bro. He's not a front court player. He's never been a front court player.
Ooh, Kevin Durant?
Yeah. When the fuck he been a front court player?
He's literally starting at fucking power forward right now.
And he still ain't a front court player. You see how they get their ass hold every night?
So Jason Tatum is a front court player, but Kevin Durant isn't?
Yes, he been a front court player for fucking his whole career. What are you talking about?
No, he hasn't, bro. He's been a wing his whole career, bro.
He's been listed as small forward his whole career. Stop playing with me, man.
That's not what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying a power forward position.
I'm not talking about no fucking small forwards. I'm talking about power forwards and centers. KD ain't never been known as no fucking power forward.
Yes, he has. Literally since he got to Golden State, he's been playing power forward. He has. He has.
When the fuck he ever been known as a power forward?
Golden State, the Nets, the Suns.
He was a power forward in Golden State?
Yeah.
Draymond Green was the power forward in Golden State.
He had games where he literally started at power forward.
All right, bro.
He had a whole series
when they went to the fucking death lineup, which was what?
Hold on,
their small ball lineup. He ain't never been no starting power forward.
Series, it was because they didn't always start. Zaza.
So if I ask Kevin, what position you been playing your whole career?
I've been a wing.
He gonna say I've been playing small forward my whole career. He ain't gonna never say I've been playing power forward.
Probably say I've been a wing because number one, even when you hear people ask about,
so how is a wing a power forward?
Because in today's day and age, it is. The traditional power forward doesn't exist. So I disagree with.
So what position LeBron been playing for the past 2 years?
Wing.
So what he playing this year?
Wing.
Thank you. Why?
Because wings.
No, why?
What you mean?
Why is LeBron James considered to be a wing?
He's always been considered to be a wing.
No, I'm asking you why. No, I'm asking you why.
If you want to know where he starts at power forward. He's been starting at power forward the past 2 years. But he's a wing. He's been a wing his entire career.
Thank you for proving my point.
How'd I prove your point? Because I said he's a wing?
No, you said he's been starting at power forward for 2 years, but he's a wing. KD ain't never, the majority of his career has not been at power forward. He's a wing.
All right, check this out.
The majority of his career has not been at power forward. He's a wing. He started out as a shooting guard.
So did fucking LeBron James.
You're making my
Kevin
fucking
Durant,
point.
Hold on, wait. No, listen.
Jason Tatum been a power forward his whole career.
Listen, hold on, wait, listen. I got you. 16, 17, KD started at power forward. Literally every year after the injury, he's played power forward. Jason Tatum. Has been, listen, Jason Tatum, first year, small forward, power forward, small forward, past 2 years, power forward.
All right.
But back to my point.
So
what?
Of a 17-year career.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, wait. No, so I'm asking you. So of a 17-year career, 5 years you spent at power forward, that make you a power forward?
No, listen. No,
I'm asking you a question.
I'm about to, hold on, wait. I'm about to answer your question. The way the game has, when Kevin Durant came into the league, you still had legit traditional power forwards. The way that the game has changed, you don't have the traditional power forward position. There is nobody like a Chris Webber, like a Rasheed. Those guys play center now. But when KD played in the league, you play with guys like Serge Ibaka and a Kendrick Perkins. That those people wouldn't even be on the court now. You would just have Serge Ibaka. So like that power forward position and small forward have just become wings. It's not really a thing anymore for real.
So what position Evan Mobley play?
Power forward, but center.
Okay, let's move on.
Power forward in the center.
Let's move on. You win. No, let's move on. You win. You win.
Okay.
You win, G. Let's move on. You win, bro. You win, G. You got it. I lost this argument. You won.
Okay. All right, whatever. Let's move on.
Y'all lost this argument because, yeah, we're not going to agree on that. So, moving on. Western Conference. OKC, I've been saying it all year.
You wasn't done talking about the East.
No, we was. That was it.
No, it's still matchup in the East. We're thinking about Indiana, Milwaukee.
Oh, Indiana, Milwaukee. I don't know. That series is toss-up.
That's a real because Milwaukee.
I think it depends on Bobby Portis. If I'm being honest,
He's coming back.
He came back. He said that he spent the entire time he was suspended practicing, working hard. He's like, I get my hair cut every 4 or 5 days. I ain't even get my hair cut. I just been locking in and focused, and my only goal is June. And that's all I kept thinking about is how we can get to June. So I'm here. I'm ready to lock in, help the team. Basically, kind of summarizing what he said. To me, this depends on Bobby Portis. I still believe night in and night out, Giannis can play a Jokic type of role because he's played point guard before. And I believe that he can dominate on both ends of the floor and be the best player on the floor in every single series in the playoffs this year. But it's going to take for him to hit what I believe will be his greatest level of all time in order for him to do that. And in the wings waiting as his backup, it has to be Bobby Portis before it's Kevin Porter Jr. And the reason why it has to be Bobby Portis before it's Kevin Porter Jr. is because that will allow the Bucks to continue to keep a large lineup on the floor and not only pace and space, but sustain the ability to shoot threes from the center position, which is bringing Miles Turner away from the rim, as well as Pascal Siakam, which you hope can create driving lanes for Giannis to get to the rim so Indiana can't load up. Bobby Portis has been shooting very, very well from three over the past 4 or 5 years of his career. He's added it and made it a good part of his game. We know Brook Lopez and what he does from three. I think if they want to have a successful series, Bobby Portis has to be the second best player on the Milwaukee Bucks, and he has to play like he played during that championship run on that team, because without them having Dame Lillard, which I believe he's going to be gone for the entire playoffs, Giannis is going to have to be the best player in the NBA in his playoffs. So if you ask me who's going to win the series, I honestly have no idea. It's a toss-up, but I think it's going to go 7. And I think whoever is the most dominant player in that series team will win. Now, whether that's Halliburton, Giannis, or Siakam, or whoever, that person's team will win in that series. Versus in other series, I think Brunson can be the best player in that series versus the Pistons, and they could still theoretically lose if the other guys don't come out to play and make threes and tough shots, and Karl Anthony Towns doesn't show up and be the Puerto Rican Jesus that he's trying to be.
I mean, I think that could be the same thing in this series.
Or Dominican Jesus.
I have no doubts about what Giannis is going to do. I have doubts about the rest of the team. Kyle Kuzma hasn't been shooting that great since he's been here. Kevin Porter Jr., he's been playing the role so far, but I got to see Kevin Porter Jr. in actual playoff series when somebody schemes for him 7 games in a row. So, I have no doubts about what Giannis is gonna do. I do think that not having Dame on the court, especially against this specific team, probably helps your defense a little bit. In theory, I think it helps your defense a little bit. But yeah, like I said, I have no doubts about what Giannis is gonna do. Giannis is gonna do what Giannis is gonna do regardless, because Giannis is just that great. If you best 2 players in the league is between Jokic and Giannis. And if you want to tell me it's Giannis because you like Jokic's offense more, but obviously Giannis is top 5 on both sides of the ball, I respect everything you're saying. I have no issue, and I will not argue with you at all. So I have no doubts about what Giannis is going to do. But the rest of the squad, I don't know. But I think Giannis can will them through this series and get them at least to a second-round series. And if you get them to a second-round series and then you can somehow integrate Dame back in, hey, man, you never know.
We'll see.
If Dame can get healthy and come back.
If I'm him, man, fuck this basketball shit. I ain't trying to no blood clots. Blood clot. All right, let's go ahead. Western Conference playoffs. The Thunder. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Man, I love being a turtle. Now, shout out to all of y'all that will get that reference. Some of y'all won't. I'm sure Pavy don't. But anyway, shout out to the Thunder. But I said it before. I'll say it again. First round elimination.
By who?
We don't know yet. I was watching ESPN. The possibilities of who they could play in the first round are endless at this point. I mean, we know that they won't be playing the Rockets because I think the Rockets have all but guaranteed. I believe the Rockets are locked into that. Huh? No. I just said they pretty much locked into the 2 seeds. But the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors, Grizzlies, or Timberwolves could all play them. And I believe that they could lose to any one of them teams. I don't think that the Kings are going to win in the play-in. I think the Mavericks are kaput. I think the Mavericks will beat the Kings, but I don't think that the Mavericks will beat whoever is going to be the 8th seed. And I'm still taking OKC Thunder to lose in 6, first round. Remember I said it.
I think if they play Memphis, they win. I think if they play Minnesota, they win. They play the Warriors. If somehow the Warriors end up the 8th seed, they lose. If they play Denver, if they play Denver, it's tough.
Blood,
If they play Denver, it's tough. If they play the Clippers, Harden gonna get hogtied.
Only team I definitely think that they would beat in the first round is the Clippers. But Kawhi is healthy this year.
Yeah, I'm saying Harden gonna get hogtied.
And that's the only thing about it. I don't care about Harden. I don't give a fuck about James Harden.
But if Kawhi,
when he is active and healthy, you cannot stop the Terminator in the playoffs.
But if Kawhi is on the court, especially when you look at the defenders that they have, they don't really have. And this is the problem. This is why Luka always go crazy. If you're a guard, you're good. Like, they have good guard defenders, right? So, like, Harden, you're going to be taken out. Anthony Edwards, it'll be hard. We could go down a list of, like, just guards that they have. But if you're, like, a bigger body wing, they don't really have, like, Jalen Williams is about 6'4", 6'5". Lou Dort, he's a big, stocky guy, but, like, he's not, like, a tall guy. Like, they don't really have another great wing defender per se. So if you're a wing, a bigger guy that, like a guy who's like 6'7", 6'8", you can do some work against them. So, like, yes, I'm with Harden gonna get hogtied. But when it comes to the rest, when it comes to stopping Kawhi, I don't know. And especially with the way Zubac has been playing this year, just being a force on the boards. Obviously, Harden assists Zubac in playing the way that he's been playing. But if he's gonna play like that, I think it could be a very interesting series for them. But I still have them beating most people that they will play in the first round, except for the Warriors. I think Memphis, they'll beat Memphis. I think it'll be a great series against Memphis, though. I think that if you're Ja Morant, you want to get your block back. If you like Ja Morant, you want to get your block back. He completely forgot about you.
Yeah, no, he was supposed to be the next point guard MVP.
Yeah, we didn't kind of completely forgot about
Taylor
you.
Jenkins ruined that.
And this is he ruined that by wanting to play with guns. Don't do that, Taylor Jenkins. He did that to himself. Taylor Jenkins didn't make him take them guns at strip club that night. Nor did they make him become possessed with the spirit of NBA YoungBoy on IG Live and pull the gun out. Don't put that on Taylor Jenkins. That's on Ja Morant. But no, I'm still going with. Okay, and I'm not gonna lie to you. If for some reason, like if Kyrie didn't get hurt, I would tell you Dallas could make a Miami Heat type run in the playoffs if Kyrie didn't get hurt. Even though Kyrie isn't there, if all those guys are going to be back and on the court, if they can somehow get to play OKC, I don't think they would win the series. But I do think that OKC would run into extreme resistance if they played the Dallas Mavericks, just because of that front court that they have. I saw Chet get his ass whooped last year. Granted, you did add Hartenstein, but you added AD.
Are they 100% healthy now?
They got the guys back for the most part, besides Kyrie, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Lively is back. Gafford is back, I think. AD been on the court. I don't know about PJ.
Exum is okay.
Exum is gone.
No, he's just questionable. He's just listed as questionable. Jaden Hardy he got a sprained ankle, but other than that, yeah, they're healthy.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, Dinwiddie has been playing very, very well. Like,
he's not a bad point guard.
I mean, he's averaging 15 and 8 over his last 10 games, shooting 45% from the field, 33% from three. So, I mean, I think if healthy. Oh no, they do got Gafford back. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they got him. That's like that to me. The Mavericks,
they are scary. That is a scary matchup.
They have the best front line in basketball.
Yeah, no, that's a scary matchup because even though Shea could get his, they can make it very tough on Jalen Williams and Chet. Like you would honestly have to outshoot most teams. If the Mavericks get in that 2 or 1 seed, you're literally going to have to outshoot them to beat them. Because I don't think anything between 0 to 18 feet is gonna be a good shooting percentage for you.
And
Shea live in the mid range, and you telling me AD gonna be roaming around the mid range because Lively is actually playing center, and you got Gafford actually playing center.
I'm not worried about Shea getting his. The problem with OKC that will be answered this playoffs is the other guys. I'm not worried about Shea. The problem with them is the other guys. Who is Chet? Is Jalen Williams actually? Can Jalen Williams actually be a legitimate second option? Shea was fine in the playoffs last year. Jalen Williams left that motherfucker out to dry, and Chet was getting his ass whooped. Like whooped up on in the playoffs. So to me, Shea not the question. The question that the Thunder will have to answer is everybody else. It's not Shea. It's everybody else.
I can't be upset at that opinion. I really can't. Like I just look at the Thunder and I just, like I told you, they got to prove it to me. I don't see a Titan. I see I see a warrior in training with them. I'm gonna put this hot take out there on the line. I don't think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays up to his MVP level in the playoffs. Period. Even if they make it out the first round, I don't think he's gonna be who he was in the regular season. I think it's gonna be very, very tough. The percentages gonna drop, the numbers gonna drop, and we're gonna see who and what he's really made of. But let's go ahead and move on to the next teams. The Lakers could, clearly cascade throughout. What chances are you giving the Lakers of making the Western Conference Finals?
Don't play the Warriors.
Why?
I don't think they can beat the Warriors. And my thing with the Lakers is Luka going once again show why he got traded. Depending upon who you play, he gonna show why he got traded. Teams are gonna pick on him consistently.
Yeah, but I will say this: when the Lakers are firing on all cylinders on defense, they look like a top 5 defense.
I feel what you're saying, but also like I don't know if that firing on all cylinders defensively is gonna work when somebody schemes for that shit 7 times in a row.
Yeah, but that's where JJ's brilliance, I think, comes into play and comes into question. If people want to claim he's Pat Riley 2.0 for the Lakers, I need to see it.
He might be Pat Riley 2.0, but
no. But that's not. Let me finish. But my point is, if you're gonna be Pat Riley 2.0, and you're gonna come in and completely change the mentality and what y'all doing, so that way you can move forward and progress, I need to see it. Like the regular season stuff, getting to 50 games or 50 wins. Impressive. I'll give JJ a round of applause for that, because 50 games in your first season, you should be applauded for that. But when we talk about genius and minding the game, as him and LeBron love to say, we going to really see when it comes to these playoff matchups how much of a basketball psychopath, because he always, and people always say he's a basketball, we're going to see how much of a basketball psychopath he is. And that's not me to be disrespectful, but I think with you theoretically having 2 of the top 10 players on your team in any matchup, I don't think any other team really can say that. I don't think any other team in the league can say that they have 2 top 10 players on their team. LeBron this year, I will give LeBron his credit. LeBron deserves to be second team All-NBA.
I don't think Luka's been a top 10 player this year.
I disagree with that.
This year.
I disagree with that.
Just this year.
I disagree with that. I
don't think he's been top 10 player.
I still disagree with that. Before he got hurt, he was playing lights out.
And then not since in LA. He shot under 40% like 10 times. It ain't been good. What the fuck you mean? So what?
He getting adjusted. What you mean?
He ain't. Luka has not been lighting it up. I don't watch those games and think
27, 7 and 7 is bad.
Read the percentages.
42% from the field, 36 from 3. He's shooting better from 3 than he was shooting in Dallas.
That's terrible. And he's worse than everything else that he's been.
And he's shooting better in free. And he's shooting better in free
throws.
He's
worse than everything else that he's been since his rookie year.
He came back from being injured for 2 months. Let the man get in a rhythm and get in shape.
And he ain't never in shape.
Let him get his way back into basketball shape, bro.
He ain't never in basketball shape half the time. He's
played 26 games. Let the man chill.
No.
Yes, he will only finish the season having played 50-something games, bro.
I said he's not a top 10 player this season. He hasn't been top 10 player this season.
Anytime he's healthy and on the court, he's a top 10 player. No, so to me, if you JJ and you got 2 top 10 guys on your roster, you better be able to pull some shit out of that motherfucking hat. And I believe that they have on their bench a lot of top tier level, not all NBA level, but top tier level garbage time and gritty defenders.
Garbage time don't sound too good.
I mean in terms of like they willing to get down and dirty and pick up the trash off the floor for Luka and LeBron and dive for them loose balls and make sure that they do all of the dirty things that LeBron and Luka won't do. I'm not saying garbage time is in late in the game. I mean, garbage time is willing to get in the trash and in the mud and clean it up.
My only thing is I don't know if I have two questions. One, I don't know if Jackson Hayes is a playoff center. I have to just see it. I think that there will be series where you are gonna need a big to offer some resistance, and I don't know if Jackson Hayes.
Not if I play the Warriors.
I still think you want somebody at least in the paint, and here is why. Because with the addition of Jimmy Butler, like he does give them a quote unquote inside presence. So I would still want at some points in time want somebody else there, and also the Warriors do have a Kevon Looney. Like I saw Kevon Looney turn. Hold on, stop! Don't do that. Hold on, wait, stop! Don't do that.
3 years ago.
Don't do that. You was sitting in my. I don't give a fuck if it was 3 years ago. He shouldn't have done it He shouldn't have done it 3 years ago. So what if he do it again when he turned to fucking Dennis Rodman? He should have. He should. I'm saying he should have done it. Listen,
I will buy if Kevon Looney turned into Dennis Rodman again in the playoff. I will buy a Looney jersey and wear it this summer on this show.
He shouldn't have done it 3 years ago. One, I don't know if Jackson Hayes is a starting center is a starting playoff caliber NBA center. I hope he is because I fuck with Jackson Hayes and I think Jackson Hayes can have a Tyson Chandler type career maybe one day. So we'll see. And then again, Luka's defense, bro. Like I've seen too many times this season already where people not great. I've also seen him slide his feet and move his puppies and offer some resistance defensively. I also saw the goddamn Indiana game when he got ISO 5 times and then Brian didn't tip that ball back in. It'd have been a whole different conversation on every sports show the next morning. So my only thing is like I don't know if I rock with Redick, but I don't know if the Lakers this year have all the ancillary pieces that they need to get it done. I think they can maybe add 1 or 2 more pieces, and then I'll be more into. I think they can maybe add one more defensive guard, and I think they could maybe get a better big rotation. And yeah, but we'll see.
I'm not upset at that. All right, let's move on. Next teams, we can talk about them kind of in a cluster because they all play in teams. We got the Kings, the Timberwolves.
We don't have to talk about the Kings.
Okay, cool. So what are your thoughts right now on the T-Wolves and the Grizzlies in the play-in berth? If you're the Timberwolves, who would you rather play, the Thunder or the Rockets? I would rather play the Thunder if I'm being honest. If I'm either one of these, if I'm any team in the play-in, I actually would rather play the Thunder than play the Rockets because the Rockets got fluky energy to me. I don't know how to explain it. They just got some fluky energy to me. And as I saw a tweet, somebody said it. They're like, yeah, I don't know. I forget. Somebody said, yeah, the Rockets won't have the best player on the floor in any series. And then somebody said, yeah, well, neither will the other team once Amen Thompson, lock him up and hog him down. His defensive compilation this year has been incredible. He's played tremendous defense on pretty much every guard he's guarded this year, including Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, blocks in the blocks in the mid-range, blocks in the paint, steals, very handsy. But the Rockets have fluke energy to me. The Rockets kind of remind me of that Portland Trailblazers team that lost to the Lakers. Like they kind of got some guys on their team that are gritty, that can score. They got a vet point guard. They got a power forward that is shifty, that's got a an awkward game like Rasheed Wallace. And then I'm sorry, not awkward. I'm thinking about Şengün. Şengün more like Sabonis, but still a combination of both. And even Jabari Smith Jr. Like I think he's played very, very well this year. I think he's lived up to my expectations of what he could be with his pick. I never thought he was going to be that good. So for him to have a solid year, especially because I like what Ime does with his lineups. Like he has consistent lineups, but to me, he's never afraid to like run awkward lineups out there on the floor, especially when he's looking for energy. And I also think that Dylan Brooks is a true agitator. So if I'm anybody, I don't want to play them. I really don't want to play them. That's going to be a series where I think whoever plays the Rockets in the first round, even if they beat them, and like let's say the Lakers fall down there, the Warriors or the Nuggets or something like that. Even if you beat the Rockets in the first round, you're gonna lose in the second round because that first round gonna be 7 games, and it's gonna be a tough 7 games, and you're gonna go in that second round, and you're gonna really have to see what you and your team made of.
1 second before I respond.
Okay, what you fact checking me?
No, I'm just looking up something. I'm just looking at the record between the two. I'm just looking at the record between the last 2 games. The last 10 games.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters either way, bro. I think either way it's gonna be a tough series. As I look at it, they split against both teams this season. It's been 2-2. So I think again, like I said, I don't think the Rockets are a team that has to lose in the first round. I think that defense is real. I think Amen can be a special player, like a special. I think his athleticism just jumps off the charts. Obviously, his defense is great. I want to see I want to see if Jalen Green can be smart in a playoff series. Just play smart and not make those big mistakes. But you also do have a Fred VanVleet, a guy who's won a championship. Never discount having a guy who's won a championship on your team, leading your offense. Şengün, all-star. You got Ime, a championship. Well, he hasn't won a championship, but he's taking a team to a championship. And if that situation did happen, he probably would be a championship coach. So like the Rockets, I think are a real thing. And like you said, Dylan Brooks, say what you want to say about him. Wherever he go, the team win. So far, wherever he go, the team win. I think what he does is real. And also the guys you got coming off the bench. You got Tari Eason, who I think if he wasn't on Houston and they didn't have all these guys, he would be a starter on a lot of NBA teams. But because he's in Houston and you have so many guys, it's just hard to give all those guys minutes. And then for the Thunder, I mean, obviously you got one of the best players in the league. I think that they match up really well. I think Hartenstein and Rudy can match up well. I think Chet and Naz Reid can match up well. I think either matchup for the Timberwolves will be a difficult one. But I don't think either matchup is unwinnable. I just think either matchup would be a difficult matchup for the Timberwolves. And I look for, to me, I think the X factor for anything the Timberwolves do is Julius Randle. Because you're not in the same role you're not in the same role you were in those early years in New York when they expected you to be the guy and lead. So that should help you out. And also I think that in moments with Ant, I think that the way Cat would sometimes get lost in games because Cat isn't a real ISO player. Like, right, you have to set Cat up more so and give him the ball, even if it's in the post or if it's, pick and pop. You don't have to set Randall up. Sometimes you can't throw Randall the ball and be like, all right, bro, just become a football player and figure it out. And I think that will, and I think that brings something to what the Timberwolves do as well. So I think for them, I don't think it matters who you play. I think for them, if you trying to figure out I think for them, just get out the play in. It's like literally get out the play in and try to go play shit. I don't try to get to 5, try to get to 4 for them. I think you just want to get out the play in general. But honestly, as I look at it, bro, from 3 to 8, I don't really think it matters too much. And I think if you a team and you trying to avoid somebody, I think then that means you not gonna go very far anyway for the most part. Like, yeah.
I think for every team in the West right now, there is no matchup that I want to avoid.
Yeah,
the only team that I realistically want to avoid is the Warriors, and that's only because Steph Curry is hot, and Jimmy Butler has games where he will score 9 points and they will win by 20. And even Steve Kerr said, that during that week when Steph Curry was out, he was like, people were talking about Jimmy and his scoring. He's like, but I don't need Jimmy to, we don't need Jimmy to necessarily score. He's like, but once Steph went out, I went up to Jimmy and I said, all right, it's time. And you see what he does, what he does when it's time for him to go out and be a dominant player on the offense. Steve Kerr essentially said that. So when I'm looking at the Warriors, they're the only team that really scares me, only because of the fact that one guy can still go out there and in a given series give you 35 a game on 50% shooting, 45% from three, 90% from the free throw line. And that means that your whole defense now has to gravitate around Stephen Curry. And that's like a large issue to me for a lot of those teams because now the hard part is like with Clay and Draymond on the floor, it's easy to double team Steph Curry, right? But when KD was there, you couldn't double team him anymore because KD was there.
You could double team him.
Nah, you couldn't really. I mean, they still, don't get me wrong, they still would double and triple team him, but you had a lot to pay for if that didn't happen, right? And KD is not even necessarily the guy that's going to, go and initiate contact to get to the line. Jimmy Butler now, when you double and that ball swings to him, he's not going to just be looking to take a three. He's going to be looking to get to the rim and create a play. And I think that's the biggest difference for them in this year versus previous years. And I think that makes them slightly a little more dangerous. And Draymond's evil twin, Jimmy Butler, if they can come together like Voltron and cause some havoc. The Warriors are the only team that I would be scared of because to me they have three guys that if they play all world, which they usually save for the playoffs, you got a tough task on your hand because Jimmy Butler plays basketball only between April and June. He show up and get his stats and his awards and stuff before April, but from April to June is when you actually get James Butler, as Eric Spoelstra once said.
Yeah, and I just think the defense has been a real thing since he's come over. Like I think that what gets lost in the Warriors championship years, they're usually top 5 in defense. Like the offense works so well because they were D'ing people up, and if we caught and if you can't score and we getting in transition, especially back then, and we getting in transition, and we getting Steph on the wing and we getting Clay on the wing, and we got Draymond coming out the middle finding guys, and they hit 3 threes, and now we was up by 2, but now we just went to 11 in 55 seconds. It's tough. But that's been the biggest thing with them. I think they've been like number 1 in defense. They've been so good on defense. Draymond Green has been lying, saying he should be defensive player of the year. He was not saying this shit. He was not saying this shit 3 months ago.
To me, it has to be either Dyson Daniels,
I'm with you,
Amen Thompson,
or Evan Mobley.
It has to be one of those three. And I wouldn't be mad if it was any one of those three, if I'm being honest.
I'm with you.
Because if you look at their defensive
I'm gonna probably
tape,
go with Dyson Daniels though.
Yeah, but I think he might not get it because not only do they not win enough games, he don't have the name. Like Thompson has kind of made a name for himself this season, coming in and really becoming the Rockets' best player. Like he's not I'll put it this way, pound for pound. Next year he's gonna be their best player, but I think this year he came in like lightning and showed like, oh, this really is the guy that's going to be the one that's going to be the future. You know what I mean? Like you say, he has a chance to be special. Şengün is going to be a great player for the rest of his career. But Thompson has a chance to be special. And I think for me, if I'm looking at what he's done, the way the Rockets have played, if he gets the award, I won't be mad. But I do think based upon the statistics and what Dyson Daniels has done in terms of steals this year and playing the passing lanes, one-on-one defense, it's been nuts, and I wouldn't be angry if any of them won that. So let's move on. Speaking of that NBA awards, we just said Defensive Player of the Year. What are your thoughts on who you got for MVP?
Still
finally, Shai.
Yeah, I don't like again. As we said it here, spoke a month ago and said about it. I said if the Nuggets can do something when they get to the second seed and they win 55 games with the season Jokic is having, cool. But they might be a play-in team, bro.
Yeah, I would say before the last week of basketball, I would have still been making an argument for Jokic, but now that they can no longer reach a top 2 seed, I think it's got to be SGA. I still wouldn't be mad if they gave it to Jokic, but it's got to be SGA. And to me, if I'm being honest, if you're the MVP of your team, your coach not getting fired before the playoffs, man. If you're the most valuable player in the league, something got to be different within your team to where your coach not getting fired right before the playoffs. And to me, that was the first blemish on Jokic's resume to me Mike Malone getting fired, especially when I saw a report stating that he got fired because of preferential treatment towards Jokic. Because then that means that you aren't behaving like one of the guys. You behaving like you above everybody else. And to me, that's not great leadership. And the one thing I can say about Shea is he's a great leader. You see it. His guys love him. They would die for him. They love his aura. I got to give it to SGA. Most improved player. I think we might agree on this. Ivica Zubac.
I'm not mad at that, but I damn near want to go Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves over the past.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at Zubac.
I think it's got to be Zoo, but I'm not mad at that. I think
Zoo is having a great season, but I think a lot of with Zoo, he's just playing more minutes. Like, he was averaging like 25. Like, we've seen Zubac be around the 25-minute range. When you give him 33 minutes, he gives you 16 and 10.
Well, no, he's giving you 16.6, 2.6 assists, 12.6 rebounds, a block a game, 1 turnover, 2 fouls a game, shooting 62%.
Now, granted, I'm saying he's been playing great, but look at the per 36.
Per 36,
he's still higher this year.
Per 36, he's averaging 18.4 to 13.9 rebounds a game, the highest in his career.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, listen, and last year, and last year it was 15, 12. He gave you more blocks. Basically, I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of the Zubac, I think he's just playing more minutes. I'm not mad at Zubac, but I think Austin Reeves.
I'm not upset at that.
He probably not gonna win it though, as JJ said.
I mean, we can make the same argument in terms of minutes about Reeves, though. If I want to be honest, he's playing basically 3 more minutes a game this year. He's shooting 3 more times, but he's only averaging per 36 0.6 more points per game versus Zubac's numbers per 36 jump off the charts.
I mean, well, so because Zubac is playing what
32 minutes
more minutes per game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zubac's playing 6 more minutes. Damn, there's 7 more minutes per game.
And
that's a lot more minutes per game. That's damn near a whole quarter.
Then why would you bring up per 36?
Because I was trying to say that,
you brought that up to argue your point, and I just killed you with your own point. Now you telling me it's different.
No, you didn't kill me. I brought listen. I brought that up to say I thought that if you would have gave Zubac more minutes, he would have done the same thing regardless.
And I'm telling you, his per 36 compared to Austin Reeves per 36 is better. It jumps off the charts.
And again,
average it out, and he's better.
No, listen. And what I'm telling you is the difference between 3 more minutes per game and 7.
All right, bro. So I hate when you do that though.
It's a huge difference. Stop
bringing up stats, and then when you lose, you change it back to your old argument.
I didn't lose. Listen. If I paid 3 more minutes, my per 36 might look like, unless I just did some outrageous shit in 3 more minutes. If you give me 7 more, damn near 8 more minutes a night, that's almost a whole quarter.
All right, bro.
Is that not fair to say?
All right, bro.
It's almost a whole quarter.
All right, bro.
But Zubac is having a great year. I don't want to disparage Zubac. Zubac is having Zubac is having such a good year.
That's also why he's playing more minutes.
No, listen. Zubac is having such a good year, but they also didn't have a backup center for like half of the year. Like, they didn't have any backup.
Didn't he play in the Olympics too?
I don't think they made it though. But they also didn't have a backup center for most of the year. Kai Jones, you weren't gonna like play Kai Jones. There were like other reasons as well too. Like, you had other guys in other years that you had to throw in the court. Like, you had Serge. I know you had Harkins. They didn't play him too much. Who else did they have? Who did they have last year? I forget. Who was their backup center last year?
Tice.
It was Tice. And they had one other. Didn't they?
Plumlee? No, I don't know. Anyways, let's
move on. Plumlee. Yeah. Plumlee.
6th man of the year. Who you got?
Peyton Pritchard.
I'm not upset at that.
I would go DeAndre Hunter, but I think he starting with Cleveland.
I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I think he's got to be. He's played lights out this year. He's been incredible. Shooting percentages off the charts. Had multiple 30-point games this year. And really, to me, like, is now an accountable force that you got to deal with coming off the bench. And you have to you can't leave him open. And where you have a team like the Celtics where they got a bunch of dynamic players on it, he's a guy that even when he's playing with the bench lineup, Now you got to account for and make sure that he's not left open, because if he's left open his threes, the Celtics set the NBA record this year for the most three-point attempts per game in terms of pace. So I think that the thing about the Celtics is they're gonna keep shooting, and they're gonna keep on shooting. Will they make those shots, especially the guys that are in their starting lineup? But I think what makes them special is that they have guys that can come off the bench and play very, very well in short spurts and spans. Even if you look at a guy like Luke Cornett, he still comes in and gives you very valuable minutes, and he plays with energy, and the team seems to really be galvanized around their bench performing well, because they all seem to celebrate their bench players' success. And I think that that's what makes the Celtics, potentially dangerous and special again this year. What's the last award? Coach of the year, who you got?
What's Coach of the year and Rookie of the year?
Who you got? Coach of the year. Who you got?
I still got Kenny Anderson.
Yeah,
Kenny Anderson. I think I have Kenny Anderson number 1 and Bickerstaff too.
Yeah, I got Ime Udoka, Coach of the year.
I don't hate that.
If you would have told me before the beginning of the season that the Rockets,
I might have believed that
they might win 55 games.
55 would have been.
They have 3 games left. If they have 3 games. They have 3 games left. They finished their schedule against the Clippers, the Lakers, and Denver. If they win out going into the playoffs, to me, incredible. They have 7 guys on their team averaging double figures right now. Şengün, all-star this year. Thompson, it takes some belief to bring that young guy off the bench and elevate him to the point where he can become a force and potentially win Defensive Player of the Year. For me, I got Ime. So, Rookie of the Year, who you got?
Stephon Castle, and I got that before the season.
Yeah, it's got to be Stephon Castle. I don't know who I picked.
Even though I want to say, shout out Zachary Ricochet. He's been playing much better. Jared McCain, I think is it Jared McCain who got hurt? Jared McCain?
Yeah, Jared McCain.
He would have definitely got some votes. Yeah, he would have definitely got some votes. Jalen Wells, get well soon, but he played good this season. But for me, it's Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle has gotten increasingly better throughout the year. You can tell that he's been working with Chris Paul. I think he's had a few triple doubles this season. He's been on my fantasy team. He's helped win me some games this season. So I'm going with Stephon Castle. And also shout out Booz Ellis. If he would have been playing earlier in the year, I think he would be a guy who would get more votes as well. Scar came on later. The Wizards, Scar, Bub, Carrington, those guys have been solid. But again, for me, it's Castle.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. I think he's been amazing this year. I think that he's proven that if Wemby can come back and be healthy, that they have a powerful future ahead of them. And they still have the opportunity to get Cooper Flag, and actually still have a chance to get 2 top 10 picks, including Cooper Flag. I thought they do.
No, the Hornets pick is top 5 protected.
Oh, it is? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. But still, I think they still have a chance to get 2 top 10 picks. And I think this draft this year actually does have some decent talent. I actually like a lot of the young big men that I saw playing in the tournament in terms of just their fundamentals and their ability to attack the basket. I think if you are the Spurs, you do need some more size in the front court beyond Wemby, because Wemby has been playing more of that small forward wing type of role. So to me, looking at what they're doing, I think the future for them is very bright. And I think Stephon Castle will be an all-star. I think the Spurs could realistically, in 2-3 years, have 4 all-stars.
I don't hate that opinion.
So I think that this has been, a good year for them.
They won't get 4 because Fox probably won't be all-star. It'll probably be tough for Fox. Fox probably take a step back, stats-wise. But they could definitely get 3 or something like that.
Yep. So that's about it for us, man. We done went through, gave y'all a nice little playoff preview. We are, we will be back next week, promise. And yeah, man, it's playoff time. Time to lock in. You know what I mean? I'm busy working on some other stuff this week, but
we got to do some in person.
I'm ready to get back to it. Yeah, we definitely do for the playoffs. Those always tend to do very, very well for us. I'm with it, Pavy. Just let me know when we can come through the crib, make it happen.
Don't the play-in start next weekend? I'm not here next weekend. But we'll figure it out. Yep. Actually, no, I am. I'm in Vegas, but I'm coming for like a night. Whatever. Anyway, yeah.
All right, bro, man. Much love, bro.
What's
It's been your
up?
boy TPJ. Find me on Twitter, HB Media TV. I got a new comedy club. Make sure you follow that brand, Wordplay Comedy. Check out some of the clips. If you in LA, come through the show on Friday, Sherman Oaks, the Green Room. It's been your boy TPJ. Always co-star rap extraordinaire Pavy. Let's talk to him, then let's get out of here.
As always, man, follow me on Twitter at Pavy Word, all one word. Got new music coming out really, really soon. Actually, I tell y'all, got a new album coming out April 29th. So look out for that. And yeah, keep streaming the records that's been playing, what I've been putting out. So if you've done that, thank you. And if you haven't, what you waiting for, go check it out. We'll holler at y'all next time.
They thought it was over. I'll be back. They thought it was over. But I said we're back.